This
is the lunchroom,
where the food might be mid,
but the combos are elite.
Let's dig in.
Welcome to the lunchroom. Dive deep into the lore with three wise minds and so much more. PE, the mind and the power of the pen. Get ready to press play, let the stories begin. Mr. Gino.
All right, welcome to Lunchroom Lore. Snack of choice for the day?
What's our snack?
And the result is...
Pizza squares!
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls. Pizza puffs.
Chef. Yes, chef.
Pizza pockets.
I'm gonna give this a second though. I want to burn my mouth.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Take 4. 5, 4. Probably our 4th time recording a podcast. You'll never see the first 4. This is probably the first you'll see. We have fixed all the dinks, the sound. We're recording. Phone is charged. The lighting's right. We have a new side camera. I think this is the one.
So we like to call it a little trial and error.
This is the one. There are episodes you'll never see that were filmed that were great, but this one's going to be the best one. Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Welcome to the Lunchroom. So let's start off by introducing ourselves for those who don't know us.
Yes. So I'm Mr. Jennis, Mr. G. I'm a PE teacher. I'm into sports, Marvel, WE, pop culture, music. I bring the energy. I bring the hot takes. I'm a yapper. So we're really going to get into it.
I'm Mr. Harris, language arts teacher at the middle school. What? That's weird. So I just became a language arts teacher. I was just hired last week.
I forgot about that.
As a language arts teacher
I heard
at
about
the middle
that.
school. And this is the first time the students are actually hearing it from me. I've been lying to them all week. So this is the
Staying
first time.
at the middle school.
Well, since a live reaction, I did not know that. So congratulations, Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr.
Well,
Harris.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lock that in.
Glad to have you.
I love Marvel, Disney, and reality TV. It's me.
That is you. That is Mr. G. And I am Mr. Lacaros. I am a high school counselor. I also recently just got hired as well. I'm super into WWE, love Pokemon. Oh, yeah, we'll do that one time.
Employment.
We do love employment. And I'm a huge WWE fan. If you know, you know. Also a Pokemon fan and Cleveland sports, basketball, you name it, I'm into it.
All right. What's our topic today?
So we
Mr.
are
Harris?
going to be talking about the Thunderbolts. We are going to get into all of our thoughts, hot takes, all that good stuff. But before that, I was hoping, can I show off some of the comics that I got today?
Go ahead.
We'd love to see them.
So today is Wednesday. Wednesday is New Comic Book Day.
Wait, they get them at the store in or
Yes.
you just go every Wednesday?
They get dropped. Yes, both.
Okay,
Both happen.
okay.
So they get new drops. These just came out today. I got Sonic versus DC Part 3.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. I got Fantastic 2. So the Fantastic Four are currently in trouble with Doctor Doom, and now they're only the Fantastic 2.
Are these new releases?
Just came out today.
All the same author? Or?
No, completely different authors. Hulk and Doctor Strange. I didn't even know this one was coming out, and I follow everything Doctor Strange, favorite hero. We got Vision and Scarlet Witch. I've been really excited about this one. A new revival of Vision and Scarlet Witch. Absolute Flash number 3. The DC universe is being rebooted, so the Absolute comics have been phenomenal, and so I'm super excited for Absolute Flash number 3. Amazing Spider-Man number 4. So they're rebooting the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Now we talked about Amazing Spider-Man not too long ago. I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah, I remember, and you guys don't because it was blurred out, and we'll never see that footage ever again. But it was a great conversation.
but you're a big fan of
I am.
Amazing Spider-Man.
That's my favorite superhero, Spider-Man.
There's a new because you're a big fan of Andrew, right?
I am.
Yeah. So I'm not a huge fan, but I do like the Amazing Spider-Man comics.
Oh, okay.
They made a new one, and it's actually really, really good. And because this is our first official podcast that's being released, I got you guys a couple of issue number ones
here we go.
of the new Amazing Spider-Man
Sick.
series.
Here we go.
And if you look at the back, there are Lunchroom Lore stickers in the back. So, exclusive students that are watching this podcast,
Exclusive
be
students.
sure to talk to Mr. G or Mr. Lacaros to see if you can get your own Lunchroom Lore sticker.
Oh, I know one
Thank you,
student
Mr.
definitely
Harris.
giving those
Of
too.
course.
Yeah, Ms. Harris is just sweet.
Last one's Iron Man, a part of the One World Under Doom series. Doom Academy, a part of the One World Under Doom series. Superior Avengers, and I got another version of the Fantastic Four comic that I just showed before, except for it's got a variant cover where it's showing Mickey and friends as
That's
the Fantastic
absurd.
Four.
But that's also awesome at the same time.
That's just absurd that they had that. Like, that was created.
So ever since I've been waiting for this ever since Disney took over Marvel. I've been waiting for little silly stuff like that.
Makes
But
sense.
Very absurd, but I would absolutely buy it. If
Yeah,
I
I mean,
Thank you for that. That's
so
awesome.
that's my new comic books that I just got. All right, let's talk some Thunderbolts.
okay.
All right.
Lead it.
All right, so Thunderbolts just came out. What was it? 3 weeks ago? Ish.
Just about, yeah.
All right, so first let's get first initial impressions, thoughts, reactions. You had some hot takes that I really want to yell at. So
Well, it was a hot take, but then like I thought about it. Like originally, I did think it was a little overrated. Like everyone I talked to, oh my gosh, it's so good, it's the best. I'm watching it and I liked it, and I'm kind of like, it's kind of missing, like your classic. Well, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish before you just jump in, because
no, I'm not jumping in. I just realized that we're probably doing ASMR on our mics, and I thought that was hilarious. Continue.
And I was kind of like, this wasn't what I expected. I expected something like bigger, but then after I watched it, I was kind of like, it was a change of pace that was desperately needed. Like, it wasn't really all beating up the bad guy. It was more like I liked how they learned from their Eternals mistakes, and they actually like dug into all of the characters, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like in the Eternals, I actually think like that movie gets too much hate, but at the same time, they had these sweet characters that you didn't feel anything for because they did nothing to introduce them. Or in this one, is kind of like we've been introduced to these characters, but you saw what they're all dealing with. Like, they all had their kind of moment. I loved Bob.
Fantastic.
I think Bob's a great character, great actor. These are spoiler alerts also. So if you haven't seen it, spoiler alerts. But when he goes,
Okay, here we go. So now we're entering the spoiler section.
yeah, but like
Okay, let's get into it.
when he turns evil or whatever, like, I do not know how you actually stop that. Like, I guess they found a way, but like the dude was just like turning people to dot. Like, it was
it's so
kind of
interesting.
absurd.
I watched somebody explain it, and I thought it might have been Ryan George, who makes like a lot of commentary. And he said, so basically he offered everybody free therapy. Because he sent them, the Void just takes people into their deepest parts of their trauma.
Yeah,
So he basically offered the entire
like,
city of New
messed
York
up.
therapy. Super messed up, yes.
I also don't get how. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense, but I didn't get how. What's her name?
Yelena?
Yelena?
Yeah, how Yelena like just knew she could walk into that and survive.
I don't think that she necessarily knew. I think it was more out of concern for Bob. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
I think she.
do you
genuinely
think
feel like-
at that moment also you think she was like okay with if she died? She was okay.
Yes, 100%. The
That's-
whole movie.
That's like
the
really
whole
sad
movie,
to think
she's-
about.
The whole movie, she's like,
Right.
like
They're all
we start off with her jumping.
I
off
do
the
think when you go into the Void and you see like her like with all the bottles of like alcohol and she's like passed out.
It's not. That's like several layers in.
Yeah, but that's like showing like, she was kind of that rock bottom. You would like never know from the outside.
yeah,
She
yeah.
seems like she's always witty and she's always cracking jokes. But like that's why when I look back, because after the movie I went and read back all the
Yeah.
all like the nerd takes and like
Yeah.
I was getting into it. And I'm like, dang, it really was like once you get into it, it really was like a very emotional movie
Yeah.
on more than just like superheroes beating up bad guys. And this is where I go back to like the Thor becoming fat in Endgame, showing that they are like it humanizes them.
So one of the crazy things is that have you rewatched Black Widow?
I've watched it twice, but like not recently.
Okay, so if you go back and rewatch Black Widow, you see Yelena in just like your heart breaks for Yelena, especially when you know
yeah,
where she's going.
I remember. Yeah,
Because she is the one person in that movie that's like, wait, no, I genuinely thought we were a family.
Yeah,
Like, what
correct.
happened?
Yeah.
This was a real family to me. Like, I was so young, I didn't know any better.
yeah,
And then you get to the Thunderbolts where, like, this family is starting to grow for her very organically. and beautifully. And it's just, I don't know, that's the coolest part.
Well, and she has that awesome moment with like the Red Guardian.
Yes.
Where like he actually turns to a dad for a moment.
Yes.
And I know you don't like it. I love the callback to the soccer team, and that's why they're the Thunderbolts. Now I don't know. Like, you're in the comics, so you know why they're actually called that. But from like a person who didn't know that, I thought that was kind of a cool way to be named because it meant something to her. Like it meant something.
However, it doesn't mean something to everyone.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
It was kind of like a running joke. Like it was kind of like they brought the story up, and then everyone was kind of like kept bringing it up.
Yeah, when they were in the limo and they said like, "Oh, okay, that's dumb. Like, why would we call ourselves that?"
Right.
But then there goes Red Guardian, just like, "No, the soccer team."
I also like to say like David Harbour, like slowly becoming one of my favorite. Everything he's in, I don't think
He doesn't miss.
He doesn't really miss. No.
like even in the one. I don't know if you've seen like the F1 or the racing movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I didn't see the movie. But
Classic in that. Not the new F1 movie coming out, but there's the
Is it?
the one where he's like he learns from like virtual driving.
He's playing video games.
So he's great in that. I mean, Stranger Things. He's probably my favorite character.
Okay.
And then, I mean, honestly, and we can get into this later, but he's probably my favorite of the Thunderbolts. I think he. I like the comic relief he brings.
That's a tough sell.
They're all because the rest of them are like
you can make an argument for all of them.
the rest of them are kind of dark.
For Taskmaster.
Taskmaster.
I don't think Taskmaster was in there for a good.
Dude, and that kind of
no
sucked
love.
because that kind of sucked because I think in the comics Taskmaster like is sick. Like Taskmaster is so cool, and I thought they underplayed Taskmaster in Black Widow.
Absolutely.
And I was mad about it. That was my biggest hate on that movie was that Taskmaster had one cool scene and was not even the main villain and was like wasted. And then at least walked away. So I'm like, okay, we'll see Taskmaster again.
Yeah.
And you see her for what? 4 seconds?
maybe 2
Maybe.
minutes.
Get shot in the face.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even care. None of them cared.
Nobody reacted.
None of them
mean,
cared.
Yelena-
They made a joke about it.
Yelena
Right, but
mentioned
there was
one
no-
thing where
but
she was
there's-
just like, "Oh yeah, I knew her," and it's like, "That's it? That's all
I
we're
don't
getting?"
know. That was just dumb.
Oh, I loved it.
I
loved it.
I thought it was so dumb.
I hate it. No, because
She's on all the posters.
Oh my gosh, it was the worst. But like, yeah, it was terrible. But so okay, here's the one character that I feel like was done dirty by a phenomenal actress and a really cool character that had some room for development, and it was Ghost.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed with what they did with Ghost because we got introduced to her and we actually got an emotional connection to her. I don't know if you remember Ant-Man and the Wasp, but there was like that emotional connection to her and the darkness of her story and how she was experimented on left and right. Oh, it was so good. Like, and I really, really wish that we just had a little more time to jump into everybody's trauma rooms.
Yeah.
I want to see him.
If everyone got to touch Bob once,
Yes.
and then I would have loved to know. I mean, even though we knew her story, they kind of went more.
We didn't
in-depth.
see Bucky, did we?
No.
I guess we have.
I guess we have Falcon
We have.
Winter
Oh,
Soldier,
yeah, yeah.
but
I think we
I
got
would
it
have
now.
loved to see more. Still,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
even
we
Red Guardian,
saw.
we didn't see anything from him either. So
Yeah, but we saw Walker's with his like family.
We saw Walker, and I wanted more of Walker too. Like, I want to see what's the next. Like, I wanted to see the next rooms for people.
I gotta say,
I mean,
he's one
yeah.
of the most well-written characters I've seen.
100%,
in Marvel.
100%, 100%.
Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but
I don't like disagree with you.
yeah, I mean,
But
Falcon
like
Winter
I don't
Soldier-
really feel like I like his character, but I also feel like sometimes I'm like, all right, like enough.
Explain.
Like I feel like sometimes he overdoes his like arrogance kind of like he overdoes his like you know,
So
his gimmick.
I see what you mean. However, I feel like that's the point. Is the fact that he is trying to overcompensate for the fact that he's not Captain America. So like when we see him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
it's
he's
like-
consistently like everybody is telling me
So
I'm Captain
he's kind of
America.
like a fake tough guy.
I am the I am the on paper, on script Captain America. I look like him. I have done all of this military experience. I should be Captain America. Nobody sees me that way.
And that's why I said he's one of the most well-written characters.
Yes.
Because when that show
And that's
came
why
out,
I'll agree with that.
you look through those TikTok comments, they were destroying this man.
And
Dude,
the
destroying
way
him,
you
but-
get so angry at the end of episode 1 when he is announced as being the new Captain America. And then in
that's
episode
what
2,
they-
when they do
that's
the
what they
whole
got
raid.
from us.
Yeah, but
And
why are
then
they
the
hating on
saddest-
him? Why are they hating on him personally?
That's how strongly
Like,
people
that
felt
was
about
crazy.
Captain America. That's
Wait,
how
what do you
strongly
mean?
people
What,
felt.
like the TikTok, like the people on like TikTok and Twitter and like hating on him personally, like saying
Yeah.
like that was crazy because
Yeah.
if you look back, that show out of all the Marvel shows, that one's probably in the top 3. Maybe you can make top 5. There's not a ton of Marvel shows.
We'd have to definitely discuss that. in
Yeah,
an episode,
that's
but
definitely
it's
something
up
we'd
there-
have
it's
to
up there
go
for me.
through.
I don't know if I would say top 3, but it's up there. I enjoyed my time watching it.
I mean, both Lokis, WandaVision, and then that one.
Oof.
I mean, which ones are better?
I'm
Which
just
shows are better?
Listen, I'm not a Loki fan.
That's crazy.
I am not a Loki fan. The show is
terrible take.
fine. No, I know. I understand it's a terrible take.
Talk about well-written characters. Loki has to be mentioned.
Okay.
Has to. His character arc is one of the most beautifully written in the Marvel.
His character
universe.
arc is the same every single time.
Yeah, but like, just him and Thor, like it is the same
It's the exact same.
until the show. Until the show.
Okay, we hit the show, and then I get so bored. The episodes are too long.
That's such a bad.
Oh, I
take.
get so bored.
Guys, that's
I
such a
remember
terrible
when
take.
it first.
If you're a Marvel fan, you're like, what is this guy talking about?
I just want to remind you that camera is not on.
Oh, why is it there? Like, why is it just there? That was my whole thing. I look at this camera, and it's not even
You
there.
need a moment to yourself.
Yeah, that's like my.
Do you want me to turn it on? I'll turn it on.
I
I'll
mean,
turn it
yeah.
on so that you
I
can
mean, that's
have
my
your-
monologue camera.
So that you can have your little monologue.
When he gets upset with Joshua, then
Yeah. We should honestly.
I'm not glad.
I feel like I'm on first take. Like I feel like you're Max Kellerman. No, you're Stephen A. I'm Max Kellerman, and you're Molly.
Like, all right, guys, we're gonna cut to commercial now.
Yeah.
The second you start arguing, all right,
No,
guys.
but if you're Molly, you have to interrupt us like occasionally and like annoy the viewers.
So wait. Okay. So can we go back? Can we back up and just go back to
To Thunderbolts. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay. So
sorry.
you were saying
I'm yapping.
You were saying best written character.
One of the best, I think, the best written character in that one was Walker. So, and it continued on even more. And I love that when he Bob/Sentry, when he touched him, like that was. We got to know that he went down an even darker
path after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought that was so cool.
and like, all of these people are just like on the brink. And you know, like you were saying, Ghost. I wish there was more because you know what? I have not seen her since 2018 when Ant-Man and the Wasp came out. Yeah, that was,
Yeah,
it was
right
2018.
before
That
Infinity
was,
War, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
or was it right
maybe-
after Infinity War?
It was right
No, 'cause
after.
it
It was
was
right
like-
after Infinity War, which was about 8 years ago. So
After?
Yeah, it was after because we had Infinity War. Then that was the buffer movie. Then Captain Marvel, and then
You're right, because
Yeah.
the post-credit scene wouldn't have made sense to us if we didn't have.
yeah. So I feel like
Infinity
there
War.
needed to be more with her. There also needed obviously more with Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And then Bucky, I understand that he is a staple in Marvel at this point.
Yeah.
I wanted more.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even really talk
Travesty.
much about how he's like, was it the senator, mayor?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
Mayor.
can we just
Oh,
talk?
yeah,
Can we
maybe
talk?
not
Can we talk for a second? Because I think that moment is so confusing based off of how they edited it. They introduced it to us, and I know you haven't seen Brave New World, but they introduced the
but
fact that Bucky
I
is
now I mean I know.
a congressman, right?
Congressman.
Or he's running for
No, he is a
He is a
congressman.
congressman.
Yeah, he
In,
is. I know
he
was-
is.
was
in Brave New World.
He was in a campaign.
Is he running or
He was running. He was running.
He's running. Okay, so
Campaigns.
by Thunderbolts, he is a congressman.
Yes.
Val says this really weird line that I've seen nobody talk about, and it is only served half a term. That's got to be a record, right?
Yes, I do remember
and,
that.
and it implies that he is no longer a congressman.
No, I think she was saying like because he got back into like the superhero. Like I think it was more like he was getting back into like the
So you're saying it was half a term
Oh,
before
yeah,
he
yeah.
jumped right back into
right.
vigilantism?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That's how I perceived it because when she says it in the film, it's like when he's with. Like,
Yeah, with the Thunderbolts.
Oh,
that makes sense. That
Because
makes
when he
sense.
first attacked them, when they were in the limo,
It's
he
when
was going to keep them for
it's
evidence.
it's when he like captured them and then
Yep.
got the phone call from what's her name,
The assistant.
the assistant,
Yes.
and then they showed up,
They showed up at the place.
and then she says it. She says it to him when they're about to fight Sentry or the Void. I think the Void's such a sweet name
It is.
for like a villain.
Can they control him?
Oh, and so that's one of the
I guess that's.
I mean,
that's a good
as
second
we
point.
see in the post-credit scene,
But that's his whole
Yeah.
thing, though, is that
he's afraid to use his power.
it literally depicts. It definitely shows like depression, anxiety, like how he said like, you know, some days I was fine and some days it was like really really
Yes.
bad. And so
Yes.
like
He introduces
when
that
they were
very
testing on humans and then they chose him, he's really messed up and can't control it. Like that's what happens.
Also, great to mention that this was dropped during or released during Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm a counselor, so
Okay.
I'm serious though. That's,
I mean, it's a big mental health movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're struggling with mental health, like, it's a good watch to, like,
see what the ups and downs look like in
you
terms
literally are relating with superheroes.
So then, what is so school counselor? Tell me, what is the next steps for someone like Bob?
Well, for him, he's somebody that just needs a lot of support and like people to lean on. Because I think there's a lot of times that, you know, when somebody's going through something, they feel like they got to keep it inside or
Yeah.
they feel like they're by themselves. But
Yeah.
then when you talk to people, you realize that there are people there for you. And when you can lean on those people, then you can kind of learn how to work through your own traumas or maybe challenges that you're going through. And when, you know, when Yelena was there for him and then he had no idea. And the fact that, you know, he was like, wow, somebody's actually, you know, reaching a hand out to me.
Well, he, like, found his family, I
Yeah.
feel like, which is nice.
Yes. So my other issue here is like, okay, so now he found this family. We have this sort of solution, especially as you're describing, but he is still saying, I'm afraid to use my powers. If I use my powers, the void's going to come back and then it's going to be really bad. Like, for me, I'm going to be that friend that's like, oh, you don't trust that I could help you through that again. You don't trust that I could be
No,
there
but,
for
like,
you.
they
we're in a family.
barely got through it. Like, they barely got through it the first time. So I think it's more like, kind of like when the Hulk was trying to figure his stuff out, where it's kind of like he didn't want to turn into the Hulk. He tried to do everything to prevent it because he didn't know what could possibly happen. And then eventually he started to control it. So I think it's going to be the same.
And
Because in the comic century's sick.
Yeah.
I would also say that, you know, kind of shows that, you know, if you are going through some challenges and some hard times, it's not something that's going to be resolved right away. Sometimes you're going to need a lot more time to be able to get through things.
Yeah.
You're going to need a lot of extra support. And I mean, he has the support of the new Avengers, maybe another spoiler, but they, you know, they're trying to work through it and that takes time. And, you know, that's something I always kind of tell my students is that, you know, there's no timeline for you to figure things out. You know, you're going to figure that out on your own time.
I got another question for you. So, what advice would you give to John Walker, somebody who's been like shaped? Like, let's say he's one of your students. His parents are like, "You are the next LeBron James. Like, you are
Four-time
LeBron."
state champ, by the way. Four-time state quarterback champ.
He
Yeah.
did mention that.
High school state champ.
This is John Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He mentioned, I think he mentioned it in the vault, I believe.
Yeah, you mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, I was not paying attention to that point.
Yeah.
So, comes in is like his parents are like, "You're the next LeBron. Like, you look like a LeBron." Not that John Walker does, but like you look like. Listen. You look like LeBron. You could fit into LeBron's clothes. You are LeBron, but that student cannot perform like LeBron. What's your advice to that kid who's like, I've got all these pressures on me, like, and I just can't seem to fit the mold that everybody wants me to fit in?
Honestly,
Doing them look really hard.
gotta stop trying to be something that you're not. You can't, you know, especially for somebody like LeBron or Captain America in this case. No one's ever going to be Captain America. No one's ever going to be LeBron James. You can be the first you.
That was like kind of like the story of Sam becoming the new Captain America. That was like his whole, I'm not going to be Steve, but I'm going to be me.
No serum.
Right.
Doesn't need the serum, and he's great.
Yeah.
He might need some serum, but that's
It could help, but
Well, I think that's the next step. Like maybe we think about getting him the serum, but he'd probably decline it
yeah.
in classic Sam fashion.
It's so interesting because in the comics he can communicate with birds.
I'm kind of glad he can't do that, actually. Like, I feel like that's useless.
I mean,
Whoa! I have read many comics where it has not been useless.
Man,
His sister recently turned into a bird, but that's a whole other thing.
that's just, I mean, yeah.
I wish it was.
That's something like as
wish
you're
it was
reading
silly.
it, you're like, okay. And
No, it
then,
was
but
so sick.
if you see that on screen, you're like,
You see it
what
on
is
screen, you're
happening?
like, what's
Look,
happening?
not really
This is
realistic in real
cartoonish. He's talking to a hawk. Like he's talking to a pigeon. The pigeon's stupid.
it's like, I love you.
Yeah. Let's leave that to the comics, I think.
Vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what would you rate the movie out of 10? And now look, when we rate things on this podcast,
We're gonna need to come up with some criteria.
No, but we need to be like, don't just be like 10. But for something to be a 10, it's gotta be. I think there's only one movie that's a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
In the Marvel Universe.
What do you say it is?
I think it's Infinity War. Winter Soldier.
That is my 10 out of 10.
Yeah, okay.
That is my number one 10 out of 10.
So, okay, let's do this.
But I think we're going to have to establish some criteria, though. Like, what are we looking at?
I think it's just like personal. Like, you can look at everything. Like, just, I mean, but it's
And at
like
the end of the day,
personal
rankings
ranking.
are going to be our own opinion too.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what the criteria is. It's
Because we're all going to have our own criteria.
like I think
my
Winter Soldier.
rubric.
You're right. I think you're right. Winter Soldier probably 10 out of 10. That's the only one. I think Infinity War is probably a 9.8. I think Endgame is probably a 9.1. So so rank them based off the like that's
Okay, so we're ranking
Thunderbolts.
We all said it at the same
I'm-
time, so we're not affected by each other's opinions.
Okay, so Winter Soldier is
okay,
10 out of
okay.
10, and we both agree. Do you
Okay.
agree on that?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we all agree on that.
Okay.
So then compare it to Winter Soldier. If Winter Soldier is 10 out of 10, what's Thunderbolts?
All right, I'm ready.
Should we
go.
pull it up or are we just going to
No, you go first.
Okay.
And you can do
Who's going
points.
first?
You go first.
Okay. I'm actually going to go 8.3.
That's lower than I thought you. I thought you were big. All right, go ahead.
I love Thunderbolts, but
I'm so serious. I'm not saying this because you just said that. I was thinking 8.3. I'm so serious. I had this under the table, 8.3.
Wow.
I was actually very close to giving it a 7.9.
Me and Mr. Harris were just locked
Yeah,
in there.
I'm literally in that
But
range.
I actually could not say
I'm in that range.
It was
Below an 8.
seven out of 10 felt very seasonal.
So here, I'm gonna be like the Simon Cowell. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna be the strict.
Okay.
Let's see how strict.
Okay. Until I watch it again. Like, I need to see how rewatchable it is and how.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 7.8 until I can, like,
I respect that.
because I definitely didn't leave the theater like I was like, dang, that's a good movie, but I definitely didn't leave the theater like completely. Like, when I watched Infinity War and I left the theater, I was like, are we serious?
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
and part of that movie was
Like-
spoiled for me, like on social media, and I still was like,
Infinity War takes your breath away.
in Endgame, you lift the theater, go like literally, no one's talking. You're just like, what did we just watch?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I do think a 7.8 is good, and I do think Marvel's on the right track to being back, because I think they were lost.
I don't, but
And I mean,
you can have that for now.
yeah, because I think Marvel definitely was just like, what are we watching? Because the old Marvel, I couldn't miss a thing. I was like, I gotta watch it.
Still can't.
After that first Loki, then I'm literally She-Hulk was the like, now I don't need to watch everything. Right after I got the 4 episodes of She-Hulk,
You skipped the best one.
I said, this show is
the best episode.
absolutely
the watchable,
terrible.
The best, most watchable episode of She-Hulk.
I said,
You
this
skipped.
show is absolutely trash. And then I kind of just skipped through and watched stuff that I thought looked cool after that. And then Spider-Man came out, and I was like, okay, here we go. Like, I'm kind of getting back into it. And then Loki 2, and then now Thunderbolts.
We watched Thor together, and that was
Thor was, he liked that movie. I cannot believe
Listen,
it. That movie
okay.
was so bad. Thor: Love and Thunder was so terrible. The whole thing with
I-
Zeus, we can
we'll-
put a pin in it.
Yeah.
But I do think we're on the right
yeah.
track, and I'm excited now because I'm genuinely excited for the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
and I'm excited like Doomsday. Like, I don't know if the Robert Downey Jr. casting is going to be good or bad, but I'm still excited to see what they do with it. And at this point, we have to trust them. I feel like they've.
It's Russo brothers again.
We're talking about 30 years of work, like 30 years of work, but I am excited for like the next steps. I just cannot stand how long we're taking with these.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like it's just taking forever to get through like this phase until like Doomsday.
I honestly
makes
don't
sense.
even know. I'll be honest. I have no idea what point in this phase we're at.
Right, like I'm saying, like
There's so much
okay,
going
so
on.
when Avengers 1 came out, like Ultron came out not that far later,
Yeah.
2012 to 2016.
and then the phase between Ultron and Infinity War was probably prime Marvel. I would say, I think that's prime.
Let me think.
I mean, that was like
I'd have to say I think
that's absolutely prime. Civil
Marvel
War, Ragnarok,
is gonna start after
Black Panther.
Did Civil War start? Was that the next movie after?
Civil War was
Wait,
after Ultron.
Wait. Where's Ant-Man?
That's in that Strange too. That's it. No, that's in that phase.
The whole year.
Strange
Civil War
was
is 2017.
2017.
It's Ultron. Okay, that ends the phase, and then it's like Civil War, Doctor Strange, Black Panther. All those are in there.
Okay.
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2. All like that has to be the prime Marvel. All into Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah,
like, that's where it ends.
Phase 3.
Or phase 3.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that one. Yeah, that's a pretty.
That
I would
has
say
to
a hot
be.
take. That's a.
It's not even a hot take. That's
a great
that's
take.
the only take. You cannot say there's another phase that's better than that one.
I can't know.
Yeah, there's no.
Phase 3 is incredible. I genuinely do think that Phase 1 and 2 are not that great.
Phase 1, I think, is pretty good.
Phase 1
Phase
is
2,
okay.
Phase 2 does seem like a filler phase.
Phase
What's in
2
Phase 2?
Like Thor: The
Iron
Dark
Man
World,
3, Thor: The Dark World.
Iron Man 2,
Iron Man 2
the Redemption.
Iron Man 2 is low
Oh,
key.
Iron Man 2, I believe, is in Phase
Phase
1.
1. Okay.
Yeah.
It's low key terrible.
No, it's high key terrible. It's
Okay.
genuinely awful.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is also very bad.
Yeah, I'll tell you what about Iron Man 3 though. Like I loved his relationship with like the kid.
That's so great.
I
I
mean,
want him to wear a
Harley?
suit.
And I
Put on
kind
a
of
suit.
Harley.
And I like
When I watched that film, I screamed, "Put on a suit." Put on a suit.
Well,
What are
he
we
should have
doing?
been Ironheart or
Iron Lad.
Iron whatever. Like
Not Ironheart. Definitely
Definitely not
Ironheart.
No.
Ironheart's always been a black woman, but
but he should have been like
Lad is what it's called.
he should have gotten some type of suit. Yeah, like a Robin.
oh, Iron Man.
Like I don't know. He was just
We only saw him at the funeral, and then
yeah.
That was it.
He don't even put him in there at that point.
he was in high school, and that was it. Maybe high school.
I enjoyed Iron Man 3, but Iron Man 2 is I haven't rewatched that one in forever.
It's so bad.
And you're like they recasted Rhodey, and you're just like, what? It was Martin
That
Lawrence.
recast was crazy.
People literally forget it. It was wait, who was it? It was it
Terrence
Terrence Howard.
It was like Martin Lawrence.
And then that last one, next time, baby, there was no next
Yeah,
time.
right. He
There
looks
was no
at
next time.
the War Machine suit and goes, "Next time," and then he never gets to go in the suit.
Yeah.
Oh.
That'd been sweet. But
But they
oh,
replace
well.
him with Don Cheadle and just go, "Shh, no one will notice."
Yeah. Any more thoughts on Thunderbolts? Like, what are we not?
Really, truly, I think it is a great. It's such a heartwarming film. Like I left out of the theater feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. That was such a good film.
I definitely didn't.
That's how I felt.
I didn't
felt
feel
giddy. like I don't know.
Yeah, because it's Marvel's back. You're like, okay, here we go. That was the first time I've left the theater from a Marvel movie. Genuinely like excited for what's next in a while. Even after Spider-Man, I love the new Spider-Man movie. All the Spider-Man stuff is great. But like then they forget who he is and you're kind of like, where are they going to go with this? But now I feel like we're going somewhere is why I really like
They're building towards another future big movie.
Yes. And you didn't like that I called it like a building movie, like a building block movie. You were saying
No, I hated that. No, because it's not a building block movie. It is such a good standalone film.
It is, but I think it was more of like
post-credit scene is building towards something. But if you look at the film by itself, it's not building.
I think
towards
they're building
anything.
up us to love these characters, and I do think we're going to lose one of them eventually. I think in Doomsday we lose one of them.
I feel like we're going to lose a lot of people in Doomsday.
And it's going to be Red Guardian. He will be the one to go, or Walker, and it's kind of like a redemption.
I don't see us losing anybody till Secret Wars.
Nah, we're going to lose somebody.
Secret Wars.
Remember this when
I don't
Doomsday
see us-
comes out. Remember this that I called it. We're going to lose somebody from Thunderbolts, specifically, and I also think we're going to weed out the old guys. Hawkeye might be on his way out. Thor might be on his way out. I think his daughter might take over. We forget he has a daughter.
He has another movie.
Who forgot that? Who is we?
He's got another movie coming out though.
He does Thor 5, and so he's,
Let's see.
That's got to be a wrap on Thor.
I mean, guys, we're 1 for 4 on Thor movies of being good.
whoa.
1 for 4. One and a half.
4.
You could give it 2. The first one's all right. First
I
one's good.
love the first one.
First one's good. Good story.
And he gets a coffee and he goes, another.
Yeah, but
Yeah, like
but
memorable
but,
moments.
but that's like, but he's like, but then they introduce Ragnarok Thor, and he's like a completely new character, and you're like, I love this Thor.
And then
And now you rewatch the first one, and you're like, yo, this Thor's kind of. I mean, I get that's who he is. He's, and I actually like how it does show how, like, being in America, being a part of the Avengers, changed like how he talked and stuff. And now he's funny. Now he's hilarious. Yeah.
I will say, I don't entirely disagree with what you're saying about it being 1 for 4, because like the first two, they were very like dark, very like slow, like soap opera, like medieval time kind of thing. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Thor 1, solid. But did I leave the theater being like that? Like that had an effect on me.
You were just
like,
you're ready for Avengers, is what you're ready for.
Yeah, where it was like, well, so where are we going to see him next? When are we going to see him interact with somebody else? That's
fair.
That's my opinion. But Ragnarok was easily the best one.
I don't entirely disagree.
Good.
But I did love Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, visually, it's so beautiful.
Dude, that's
visually.
He's the Paul Abdul of rankings. Like
okay, listen,
that movie was great.
I absolutely love Marvel. Like, Marvel can sell me anything, and I will buy it. I'm going to see anything Marvel puts out on opening night. I've seen everything they put out.
See, I'm a realist.
I've seen everything. Anytime a movie comes out, I'm right
Thor,
there.
Love and Thunder
I haven't fallen off.
Pretty bad.
I saw it opening night and I loved it. Oh, the black and white scene, the whole dynamic with Jane dying at the end and making it to Valhalla, and the fact that it expedited her. Oh my!
I don't know what Taika Waititi was doing on that script. He was probably writing to our middle school viewers because they probably would have thought it was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, the kids scene.
Oh, where they're all fighting? I loved it. Oh, it was so
corny. That's what it was. All right.
Well,
any ending thoughts on Thunderbolts? This is a long episode. We had a lot of thoughts on it.
we did have a lot of thoughts.
We're getting off task.
I was excited more for the future, but I really love just like the personal aspect of the film, especially the effect that it had on me, especially in the field of work that I do. I think for me, that's why it was such a great film. Yeah. And even like anybody that doesn't watch Marvel, I would be like, go watch that. Because that's like, there's just so many real world connections, and they built it in a way that would maybe not like reopen those wounds for people, but really kind of like look within themselves, see like, this is something that you need. You need people to lean on. Maybe not family, could be your chosen family. And I think that, when you going through hard times, it shows you that you're able to get through it. Shout out to Bob.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a comment, hit that subscribe button, like us, all the things. And we will see you guys next time
at the lunchroom.
At the lunchroom.
Way to ruin it.
Welcome to the lunchroom. Dive deep into the lore with 3 wise minds and so much more. PE, the mind and the power of the pen. Get ready to press play, let the stories begin.